Welcome to the Cardinals Locker Room Show, presented by Santan Ford & Gilbert, home of the Tim Hovick Satisfaction Guarantee.
Come on, man! Come on!
Let's get back to the stadium for analysis and exclusive interviews from the Cardinals locker room. Here's Dave Pasch, A.Q. Shipley, and Paul Calvisi.
Seattle wins it 44-22, leading 35-0 midway through the second quarter on the strength of 2 fumble recoveries for touchdowns by DeMarcus Lawrence. The Cardinals got it down to 38-15 on a Trey McBride touchdown catch. Greg Dortch had a touchdown run for the first Cardinal score, but then Seattle was able to march down the field, get a field goal from Myers to make it 41-15. Marvin Harrison had a touchdown to make it 41-21 with about 41-22 after the extra point with 9:50 to go. The Cardinals could not recover the onside kick, though, and that was the ball game. Seattle wins it. The Cardinals lost. We counted 7 different players to injury that did not return. Now, a couple of those were probably because it was the end of the game. They weren't going to return anyway. We hope that's it. But even if the injuries were not severe, those couple players like Walter Nolan, they were not coming back in at that stage. Hopefully those injuries are not severe. The Cardinals already have enough injury issues. And they've got bigger problems, and that's that nobody cares about those injuries. They just care about your record. And the Cardinals are 3-6. A.Q. 9 games into the season. How would you describe what this year has been like now that we're at the midway point?
Disappointing, I think, is the big word that comes to mind. I think whenever we were coming out of the first half of the season, it was finish. Hey, why can't we finish? And then all of a sudden you get these disappointing wins. I mean, the disappointing losses coming off one of the biggest wins of the year. It's just, that's the biggest thing. It's just so much up and down.
All right, let's go to the locker room and check in with Paul.
All right, Elijah Higgins, Cardinals tight end, is alongside. A.Q. just mentioned the up and down in this game. How about the up and down from the last game to this game? I mean, Cardinals just coming off their best game of the year, most complete game, the win, and then to have that result. Just tell us, I don't know, what comes to mind first?
Yeah. I mean, it's part of being a competitor. You know, you face, especially at this level, you face great teams every week, and sometimes things don't go your way, and that's what happened today. We didn't play our best ball, didn't execute the way we needed to, and when you do that against a good team, that's what happens. You dig yourself in a hole, and it was a little too deep that we weren't able to climb back out of it.
Tell us about the 2 defensive touchdowns. How similar were they in the way they unfolded?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the same player too. It's tough, like I said. Just things didn't go our way today. We didn't execute the way we needed to, and it's hard to bounce back from that, especially when it's early in the game. And you get so behind going into the second half. But I mean, kudos to the guys that we fought hard and we had a lot of belief going into the second half, so we can lay our hat on.
In Seattle's defense, Mike McDonald is known for those complex split schemes, right? I mean, is it pretty normal to get something unscouted or something pretty complex when you play this team, this defense?
Yeah, they definitely they showed some stuff to us today. Obviously, that's our job to respond and pick it up. But obviously, they got us a couple plays, and those plays hurt us bad.
At the same time, how much do you attribute to just being self-inflicted? Just Cardinals beating Cardinals at times.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do that at this level, obviously. But we just got to turn the film on, learn from it, and correct it, and go on next week. That's all you can do.
What'd you think of energy just coming off the short week, the 3 a.m. arrival? No?
We were ready to go, man. We had a lot of confidence coming into the game. I had a lot of confidence at halftime, I think, as a team as well. But I just couldn't put it together.
What's your confidence when you catch the ball these days? Not just making the catch, but breaking tackles. I mean, you are a problem with yards after catch for defenses.
I mean, I just get Coach Gannon says star your role, and I just try to do the best that I can. Get limited opportunities, so every opportunity I get is forever grateful for, and I just try to make the most out of it.
What's it like, or how deflating can it be when you have so many injuries? Not only this season, but this game. I mean, every third play, somebody's going down.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate part of playing football. That's what we signed up for. We know that nothing's promised, and obviously unfortunate with this year we had a lot of injuries. Like I said, that's just the way the game goes, and that's why you have, you carry 16 guys and you carry backups, and he carried 2s and 3s for that very reason. There's reasons there's not 22 guys on the team. There's a reason there's 53. So it's just next man up mentality, and I mean we got the guys that have the mentality to do that. So I'm not too worried about it.
Last question. We all know about Trey McBride. We can see the box score. What do you see on a daily basis out of Trey McBride? I mean, there are times he comes to the sideline, he is exhausted. He leaves it all out there, doesn't he?
Just consistency. I mean, he's a phenomenal player, a great teammate. I think he does a great job. I'm always on the sideline waiting for him to tap his helmet, but he doesn't do it too often. I think that touchdown there, he was gassed. You could see the way he caught the ball and tried to get into the end zone. I mean, he's a fighter, and I tried to model my game after that, and just the mentality as well. But it's hard. It's hard to do for sure. He's a different cat.
You guys are a hard combo, so appreciate the time. Thank you, Elijah.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Yep. Trey McBride, by the way, 9 for 127 and a touchdown.
Yeah, Trey McBride. Again, it's unfortunate that this season has not gone the way that we hoped, because you could make the case he's had a better year this year because the touchdowns are up compared to a year ago.
He's been fantastic, and Jacoby's done a great job of finding him, obviously down the field. Early in the season, I was wondering if we were going to see him make some of those chunk explosive plays, because everything seemed to be running short stick routes, short drags, all this short stuff. We have really opened him up in recent weeks, and today he was fantastic, over 100 yards. He just plays at a different level. You can see the intensity. You can see the way that he finishes plays. When he has the ball in his hands, there's nothing stopping him from getting a first down or trying to get in the end zone.
How would you evaluate Jacoby Brissett's performance? Obviously, with Kyler Murray on injured reserve, Brissett's the quarterback for at least the next several weeks. And he did not have an interception. He did have 2 takeaways, but it's really hard to put either on him, because that was the offensive line that gave up a couple pressures, resulted in forced fumbles and touchdowns.
I was confused. I mean, honestly, obviously with him, I'll answer that question first. So I thought, he was fine. Let's just say that. I think he was fine, but I don't think he had a chance, I guess, is where I was going to go with that. And I'm also confused on the early game plan. It was constantly blocking back, pulling a guard, putting the offensive lineman on edges, and then as you move forward in the game, they really couldn't block these guys long enough. So I'm not sure why there wasn't more mix-up of draws, screens, quick perimeter plays, right? Just get the ball out of your hands quick. Everything seemed to be trying to go chunk play action, down the field, 7-step, hitch, and by that time you got 4 people in your face, and I just don't think they gave Jacoby a fair chance today. I mean, I don't think he had much of an opportunity to be who he could be.
All right, the Cardinals Locker Room Show is presented by Tim Hovick, Santan Ford in Gilbert, right on the price, right on the corner of the Santan 202 Freeway and Val Vista. Jonathan Gannon will be coming up. You'll hear the coach's thoughts after today's 44-22 loss to the Seattle Seahawks to send the Cardinals to 3-6 on the season. The Cardinals never got their run game going either. DeMercado had a 55-yard run, but that was at the end of the game. So you take that away, and the Cardinals had about 75 rushing yards. They basically got, almost half of their rushing total on that one run. Again, how much of that is back to the offensive line? How much of that is on that we're down to 3rd, 4th string running backs because of the injuries?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's to do with the offensive line. But again, I think a lot of that, let's not forget that we need to give the other guys credit too. I think the D-line in Seattle is really good, and I think they're stout, and they were missing obviously one of their best players in Jaron Reed too. He's been put on IR today, but they got depth, they got size, they got quickness, they got speed. They've done a really nice job building the depth on that side of the football. Their defense is incredible, too deep across the board. It starts with their D-line. But I think when you look at the running game period, everything, again, I think they were at a disadvantage. I think obviously these guys are good, but I don't think there was anything earth-shattering creativity to plan against what they had on the other side. I don't think whenever you look at the guys across and they're trying to get to the perimeter and all these penetration early in the game, it's like I don't understand why we didn't start going more quick hitters. The only converted short yardage and goal line plays in the run game that we had were downhill. Every time we tried to get to the perimeter, they were blowing it up. They were penetrating, getting in the backfield, and getting 4-yard losses. And I think part of that's due to putting us on edges up front the entire game with pulling a guard constantly, always trying to pull a guard. And then when you do that, against these upfield penetrators, it's really tough.
And Seattle has so much speed at every level. And you're right about the depth. They've done a fantastic job of drafting. At every level of their defense, they've got depth. And so their special teams are really good because you get really good players that are your second teamers on defense. And, again, to have Julian Love out, Job out, Witherspoon, I don't know if he got hurt or if they just took him out because he wasn't out there a lot in the second half. But Pritchett played well. They've got a really good secondary. At least they played really well today. We mentioned Pritchett was out there defending Marvin Harrison. He had just 3 catches. Now, he did have a touchdown. There were a couple drops, though, in this game for Harrison. Does not feel like, a step forward, 2 back. I think it's been 3 steps forward, maybe a half step back. But some of the issues that we saw earlier in the year did pop up again today.
Agree. They showed back up. There's no doubt about that. And I think whenever you saw what he did last week, I thought we were past that. I thought we were back to confidence. But today he just never looked comfortable. He dropped, I think, the first ball that was thrown his way. He did make some catches, I think, early, but I think most of the day it looked like he was fighting it again. He just looked uncomfortable from the get-go, catching the ball with his body. Even the 2-point conversion, really, if they would have went to replay, that was a very questionable call because he puts it on his body, it's moving a little bit, and he goes out of bounds.
Yep.
But he just was not comfortable playing with his hands today, and I don't know if that was because of the guys across from him or if that was for whatever reason, right? I mean, it's just, I do think this place has a different feel about it. I mentioned that when we walked out there pregame. There's a different feel here. There's a different energy. It's a tough place to play, and even if you subconsciously come in just a tad intimidated, which you shouldn't, it's the NFL. You should have the utmost confidence, but there might be something there subconsciously, subliminally, whatever it may be, where he just didn't look right today.
Up next, the 49ers. Mac Jones had 3 touchdowns today. Obviously, we didn't watch the game, so don't know, how well he played. They were down 21-0 at one point. Maybe Brock Purdy's back. But the Niners are in desperation mode, and the offensive line for the Cardinals, it's been an issue all year. And last year, it was not an issue. But with some of the guys they have on that front for San Francisco, now they do have injuries up there too, the Cardinals are not going to have it easy next week either. So to your point on game plan, is it a similar plan against San Francisco, or do you think we see it spread out more in terms of using more receivers and less of that 6 offensive lineman package? We didn't see as much of the 6 offensive line package, though, today as we did against Dallas. Seems like they did go away from that, but do you think we'll see less of the pulling guards and we'll just see straight up pass protection and run plays?
I hope so. I really do, because I think when you look at this team, the bread and butter and what they've been built on is those pulling plays, but it has not worked this year. It has not. Even though it has in the previous 2, it hasn't been great this year. And so you continuously try to do it, whether it's personnel, whether it's different scheme, whether it's people scheming up against you and now combating that. It's probably a multitude of all 3, but you are much more sound when your pocket is fluid, when it's just 5 guys setting up a dish as opposed to blocking everybody down and then having somebody pick up the slack, pulling a guard front side, or vice versa in the run game. If you're just running a zone, now you can get hip to hip and everybody's running in the same direction versus pulling a backside guard. Now everybody has to cover down going back, right? And so when I say that, it's just more fluid when you can stay cohesive with the guy next to you as opposed to picking up the slack when somebody pulls.
Again, the final score here, 44-22. The Niners lose 42-26. Mac Jones had 6 incompletions today. 1 was a pick, 3 touchdowns. Again, don't know if it'll be him or if it'll be Brock Purdy next week. They got down 21-0. Came back to make it 28-20 in the fourth quarter. But, the Rams' offense is really good, putting up 42 points. Stafford had 4 touchdowns. Kyron Williams had 2 touchdowns on the ground. And the Rams are now 7-2 along with Seattle. San Francisco is 6-4. The Cardinals are 3-6. And injuries, again, a problem for the Cardinals. Hopefully JG will have an update for us. If not, we'll get it during the week. In terms of the defensive game plan for today, you talked about the offensive game plan. What did you think about the plan defensively against Seattle's offense today?
I think they're a very hard offense to game plan against because they have so much talent, and I think because they scheme you up so well. I think they do probably only about 5 or 6 plays in the play-action game and the run game, but it all looks similar, and they do it out of different formations, different shifts, different motions. And so it's tough to get a beat on it. You can't get any tendencies on it. And so when you watch it on film, it's like, oh, they got to it that way. Oh, they got to it that way. Oh, they get to it 500 different ways. And I think it's just tough when you go against that type of offense.
All right, let's go to Paul standing by with Coach.
All right, Jonathan Gannon is our guest here post-game in Seattle. Coach, I don't know if there's anything that's resonating the most or somewhere you want to start, but how about that Seattle defense? We start there, especially in that first half. What was most problematic?
Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't stay ahead of the sticks on mixed downs, and in known pass, they whooped us pretty good, you know, and then they take away the ball and score twice, and you're in a big-time hole versus a good team. You're not going to win the game.
I know they're known for some complex blitz schemes. The 2 defensive touchdowns, were they similar in how they unfolded?
Well, the one was on second and pass, and I think they ended up bringing 6. And then I think on the third down, I thought that was just 4-man rush. I honestly do. Just 2 sack fumbles, unfortunate.
Did you consider an inordinate amount of free hitters in that first half from, that front by Seattle getting into the backfield?
No, it just felt like in known pass, the pocket was collapsing pretty good. So we got to make sure that we can protect a little bit better and get it out of his hand a little bit. But I think it ultimately stems, that was kind of one of the winning edges, was we can't play in 3rd and long all day, or known pass all day on 2nd down. And it's just, first down, we weren't as productive as we needed to be.
And as soon as Seattle took a big lead, then all of a sudden they can just pin their ears back, right?
Correct.
Yeah. In the red zone, Cardinals got down to the 1. Cardinals got down to the Seattle 2, got down to the Seattle 8, and didn't have any points. Was there anything you can diagnose? Was there a common thread there?
I mean, we were down in there a couple times, and again, like where the score was, you feel like you got to go for those. If the score wasn't out of balance, you could kick a couple of those, I'm sure, and put up points on the board. But where we were, I just felt like that was the best thing to do, and give them credit. They came up with some stops.
We talked to Elijah Higgins a little bit ago, and he said, yeah, they brought some unscouted stuff. That's sort of, they're known for that a little bit on that Seattle defense, right? Dialing up some pretty complex split schemes.
Yeah, they did. Like I said, they did a good job. They outcoached us and outplayed us today.
What'd you think of energy, intensity, physicality, just coming off the short week and the 3 a.m. arrival from Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, that's everybody has to do it, so it's not an excuse. Where I look at first is myself, and I obviously didn't have good enough plans going into this game and didn't execute them well enough, and it falls on me. We got to play better than that coming out of a win in Dallas on a short week. We got to play better than that, especially against a good team, because if you don't play well in 3 phases, you're going to get whooped.
Defensively for the Cardinals, what'd you think there? Cody Simon, had the green dot. Just what were some of your takeaways?
Operationally, we're fine, but too many explosives. I mean, the early one to Jigba, that was a good throw and catch. I thought Garrett was in good position, but really didn't get a chance to play the game on our terms because on 1st and 2nd down, they're ahead of the sticks all day. A bunch of 3rd and 1 conversions. It's not even pass, on 3rd down. So didn't do enough, really, all 3 phases.
When the injuries pile up like that, how many adjustments are you making in real time over the course of the game?
There's a lot, but everybody has to deal with it, and you just got to be able to, plug different guys into different roles and keep going.
With this game film, do you watch it? Do you drill down?
Yeah, we're going to watch it. We got to learn from it, why that happened, and don't let it happen again.
Any other particular message you want these guys to leave with?
No, they'll come back to work tomorrow. I was not a lot of good came out of that game. The one thing that was good that I appreciate, and I told them, is when you're down like that at half, you can quit. And they knew they had 30 minutes of ball, and I did not think we quit. I thought we kept playing hard, tried to get back in the game, but just too much of a hole there.
Yeah. Marvin Harrison Jr. had 3 catches, had the touchdown, but at 12 targets. What was making it tough for him to get the efficiency?
Well, they're rushing good, so the ball's coming out of his hand maybe a little bit too quick, and I thought they had good coverage.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Travel safe.
All right, there you go, Jonathan Gannon.
And the final score again, 44-22. The Cardinals fall to 3-6, 0-3 in the NFC West. and they will host another divisional opponent on Sunday when they welcome the San Francisco 49ers to town. Our executive producer, Jim Omahundro, associate producer, Cody Fincher, engineers, Brian Dubose and Jeremy Nicolato, technical director, Ali Narini, in-studio coordinator, Jamal Gumo, the vice president of content, creative, and brand is Surf Melendez. Craig Grialou and Kent Summers standing by with Cardinal Talk. For A.Q. Shipley, Paul Calvisi, Dave Pasch saying so long from Seattle, where the Seahawks beat the Cardinals 44-22 on the Cardinals Radio Network.